All right, everybody, what is going on? Good late to morning now. Hope you guys are doing well. And we've got another draft evaluation video to get to here. And we're on to a new position here, and we're going to get through this position fast. It is right guard. This is a position where things are going to get a little bit complicated here. Um, I think a lot of people would agree that one way or the other, the Seahawks need to think about this position. Not so much for right now. Right now, it's a little more controversial, right? There are definitely some people out there that would like to replace Bradford for the 2026 season. Some people are a little bit more okay with Bradford continuing to start, but either way, the thing to keep in mind here is that Anthony Bradford is in the last year of his contract in 2026, and Christian Haynes hasn't shown anything. So even if Bradford's the guy for 2026, and I do believe that he is, you got to think about the future. Maybe Bryce Cable do something, maybe Mason Richmond something, maybe they can be right guards. I don't know. But I think this is something that you can at least start thinking about. And if the opportunity is there, maybe the Seahawks team drafts a right guard with the intention of letting him sit for 2026 and then taking over in 2027. I don't know. I will say it's not a great draft for the position, and that's another kind of layer here. When it comes to offensive linemen in the draft, sometimes it's hard to know where a player is going to land. They're like Gennings Dunker is a good example of this. Gennings Dunker is somebody that a lot of Seahawks fans would love to get at pick 32, but I'm not convinced he's going to be a right guard, and that's how Seahawks fans want to look at him as, because I think he can do it, but I think if you look at his measurements and you look at his game, he can probably play tackle. So I'm gonna talk about Gennings Dunker, but he's not gonna be with this group because I'm gonna go based on what I think the player will end up as. But keep in mind, players move around all the time. Players land places you would never expect. So you have to kind of sweep with a broad brush here. So we're gonna look at the right guards who I actually suspect will be kind of more straightforward right guards in the NFL. Mostly these are guys who were actually right guards in college. And just understand that any offensive lineman can end up pretty much anywhere. Things surprise you all the time. When we drafted Justin Britt, I don't think anybody thought that he was eventually going to end up being a pretty good center. We tried him at tackle and guard before we put him at center. So we didn't. And everybody thought Gray's Abel was going to be a center last year, and we put him at left guard. And so far, it's worked out pretty well. So hard to know. Okay, our first guy for this video and the top pure right guard in this draft is Keylan Rutledge of Georgia Tech. This is actually the only pure right guard in my mind that is ranked in the top 100 on the aggregate. So, third round pick. He's going to be your 1/3 rounder, 22 years old. Decent size. He's actually a little bit smaller than a typical right guard, but as far as guards go, he's about normal. Arm length 33 1/4, fine. 10-inch hands, sure. Pretty fast 40, but a really not great 10-yard split, so mixed results there. Pretty explosive mover, and he also had a nice 3-cone for a right guard, so he's quite the athlete for a guy who plays right guard. Now, he's not huge. It's not like this is a 350-pound man doing this, but he is a pretty good athlete for a 300-pounder. The big boards mostly put him in the third. ESPN and Walter Football had him in the second, and the Draft Network did not have him on their big board at all, and the aggregate puts him in the third. So that seems to be about where he's probably going to land. You take a look at his play over the last 2 seasons. 2025 was his breakout year, allowed 0 sacks and all of 6 total pressures in 2025. Graded well, 5 penalties, not bad. And obviously Georgia Tech, they do things differently on that offense compared to a typical offense, I guess you could say, but at the same time, he does show upside here that makes you think he could start at the NFL level. So the positives with Rutledge, as I see it, he's got good synchronization between his arms and his legs when moving. He moves in sync. He doesn't look out of control completely when he's in space. He knows how to maintain a block while moving. He's athletic. He moves pretty well in space. Yeah, his testing numbers were really good. He also hits with a lot of force when he's making initial contact. He's got a lot of pop. He generates leg drive when given the opportunity to. He can move guys and open up holes in the run game. He's very strong and he's also very tough. I think he's somebody who plays through a lot of injuries at Georgia Tech. He also has a lot of college experience. He had a lot of experience at Georgia Tech. He's got a really firm latch. He maintains his blocks really well, and he's quick out of his stance, so it's hard to take him by surprise. Now, those are the positive things with Rutledge. It's a pretty good list, but even though he tested well, he's not the smoothest mover. I don't know if he's a perfect fit for zone. Like, there's potential, but he's not the smoothest open space mover. So there is a little bit of work to be done here at the least. He leans into contact. He's a leaner and puts himself in bad positions because of it. So that's something that a lot of these college linemen do. They just lean into contact because they think they can get away with it. And in the NFL, for the most part, you can't. He does get a little out of control in space. It's not extreme, but he's more of an athlete than an actual smooth move blocker for the NFL. He's generally inconsistent. I think his technique is kind of all over the place. Some snaps it's great, some snaps it's not so great. More athletic pass rushers can give him trouble. They can press him on the edges a little bit, which is why, as a right guard, you're not going to run into that often, but it does happen every now and then. Doesn't get the most out of his athletic ability, and he doesn't recover as smoothly as you would like. When he gets beat, it's hard for him to get back in the play. So he's the best as far as a pure right guard goes in this draft, but I still don't know how much you're going to want to bet on him being able to unlock his full potential, which is pretty notable. He's a good athlete. This is a very good athletic specimen, 315 pounds, running a 5.0540, playing right guard. Yeah, but are you going to be able to get him to the point where he's actually comfortable and natural moving in space? Now, the good news is I think he's also got good mauling abilities. He's strong. He generates leg drive. He's tough. So at the very least, you're going to get that. So it's not like there's a really big downside here, but you got to keep in mind what you might be getting here. And as a fan of a team that runs outside zone, it's not a sure thing. So I'd put him in the third round. Maybe I'd even go late second because the class is weak. I would say buyer beware a little bit if you're running zone, but at the same time, he still has more upside there than a lot of guys we're going to be talking about. And there aren't that many guys to talk about anyway. This next guy, Jalen Farmer, he is the only guy we're going to talk about here, I believe, that is a fourth rounder according to the big board. So Jalen Farmer projected to be an early fourth round pick. PFF has him in the third. Tankathon has him in the fourth. CBS has him in the fifth. The other big boards, I think, didn't have him at all. So probably going to go somewhere around there. So we went through Rutledge, who is the one guy projected to be a third round pick here, and then Farmer's the one guy who's projected to be a fourth rounder. Basically, everybody after this guy is kind of a flyer. Farmer couldn't find his age. He's a little bit on the taller side, not overly big. He's got nice long arms, though. Really good testing numbers, like freakishly good. 4.9, 340, 98th percentile for a guard. If he actually catches on a right guard, he's probably one of the fastest right guards we've seen, maybe ever. Remember, most of the faster players in this league who play guard tend to play on the left side. Now, will Farmer move to the left side? I don't know. I typically don't expect a college right guard to be able to move to left guard, but who knows? Good 10-yard split as well. Real nice broad jump, 82nd percentile. Last couple seasons, he hasn't been graded great or anything. Last year, almost a 70, though. Run block grade was decent. 3 sacks and 11 hurries. Not bad. 1 penalty, too. So that's really good because the previous year, it was a little bit messier. So showed improvement. There is some positive stuff here with Jalen Farmer. So the positives are he's strong. He's got good strength. He's got that right guard strength you need. He hits with a big-time pop when he goes into contact with a defensive lineman or a defender. He hits with a lot of force. He has shown some upside to play in space and play on the move and climb up to the second level and even beyond. He's got remarkable length for a right guard. He can generate movement in the run game as well. He does have leg drive. He is a this is not a finesse guard at all. And he anchors down well. He does like the bullfrog leap thing where sometimes it looks like he's getting beat by a bull rush. A bull rush is pushing him back and then he'll just re-anchor and latch down really well. So he's got all that. Now, the downside here is sometimes I feel like he loses his technique in run blocking. Sometimes he gets a little bit floppy. He hasn't yet turned his remarkable athleticism and the ability to actually play well in space. So you are looking at a little bit of a project here. I don't yet think he's very comfortable handling the movement stuff. And he's not very active on his feet. His feet get heavy. His feet get kind of stuck, and he gets beat to the outside and gets beat around because of it. And he's not shown signs of being a particularly cerebral player yet. Stunts and blitzes get to him. So, flawed player for sure. There's immense potential here, enough to get my attention for sure, but you got some stuff to work through here. So, this is just kind of frustrating. He's a great athlete, but so far, he's mostly been a phone booth guy. Now, he'll be a good phone booth guy. If he ends up being one of those guys that stays at home base all day, then okay, but I do think that there is a real concern that that doesn't happen. It doesn't always happen. I mean, Anthony Bradford's a phenomenal athlete, and look at him in space. It's a crapshoot. So I'd take him in the third. I think I'd take him in the third, but only if he's a scheme fit. I need to be running power or gap or something like that. If I'm running zone, I got to take him later. I just don't really believe it. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. More videos soon.